We are live.
We are live.
We're live.
I thought I was
Coming to you
dead.
from
I'm
Hollywood.
78 years old. I thought I was dead.
You're pretty dang old.
Oh, yeah. You should talk.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
the
younger
older.
than you.
You're young. You're the older.
You're not going to convince anybody of that. So there you go.
Wowdy,
Naughty County Saudi.
fatty yowdy.
I don't think I'll interpret that one.
Okay. All right. So, Fairport, Kansas. We got to know what happened in Fairport, Kansas. What are your earliest memories of life in Fairport?
Of Mom liking her better than me.
Oh, that's so wrong. Tell them about the T-shirt you made.
Oh yeah, I did
Yeah.
have T-shirts made for.
Yeah, that was pretty
Harold
naughty
and
of
Connie
you,
and I.
too. I have to say that was pretty mean. Yeah.
Took them to a reunion or something, and mine. How did that go?
You made them.
Oh yeah, mine said, "My mom likes me best,"
Yeah.
and yours
Harold's
said,
was nicer than mine.
"I can't remember how those go."
Harold said, Mom didn't even like my sisters.
Yeah, that's it. I said Mom liked me best, and you said my mom liked my sister best, and
Yeah.
Harold said Mom didn't even like my sisters. They made quite the hit with some of the people.
Yeah, not me though, because mine was the worst.
Yeah, yours was.
Yeah. She's always been mean to me. What can I
I
say?
have not. I babied you. I raised you. Oh, I
I have
shouldn't
to
admit
say,
to
you're
that. I
still
raised.
trying to be my mom.
I know.
I know that much.
That's why I didn't learn to swim over in the Russell swimming pool, because I was so worried about you.
That's a good excuse. Doesn't work for me.
No, it's true, Connie. I was your little mama.
Okay. You win that one.
Thank you.
Only one though. That's all she's gonna get.
I've got some more in my sleeve.
Okay.
What did you two do for fun when you were growing up?
Waddy daddy yaddy waddy naughty.
Well,
Wowdy daddy waddy dowdy.
shitty dowdy nowdy. Yeah.
Okay, one of the things we did was take cigarettes down under the bridge and try and smoke them.
We didn't like it really though.
Thank
either.
goodness.
Yeah.
Did you get in trouble?
When the store guy told us we were, well, that's a different story. We've been told recently that our friend Judy came down to our house and our dad gave us money to go to the little Elmer Creek Palms store. They laughed at that name. But anyway, we went down to
It was
Elmer's
a cool name.
and we said we needed a pack of cigarettes for our mom. And so he sold them to us because in those days you could. And then when we walked out the door, he called our mom. We didn't get to smoke those.
And I don't think we really got in bad trouble. Our mom didn't really get us in bad trouble.
Except that
much.
time down by the river.
We did get switched on our legs once.
You can tell that story.
No, go ahead.
It was your idea.
You are so full of baloney. She was older and she always had all these bad ideas. And I
No.
just had to, being my mom, I had to do them. Yeah. It's true, you know it.
Well, tell a story.
No, you're the storyteller.
I can't believe we did it. It's too bad that I sometimes
Yeah, I
think we
kind of
made
hate
that
to
up.
admit it. Kinda
We
hate
had this little girl, Jackie, and she taught us this canna shop and go berries and all of those words because she had a little bit of a speech impediment and she didn't say them right. So we didn't mock her. We
Yes,
talked
we
like
did.
her. Okay, we talked like her, but what we said was like "hey-go" for a headscarf.
Does that sound like headscarf to you?
She didn't say it that bad,
Probably not.
but that's the way we interpreted
We
it.
remember it that
Yeah.
way as being true.
And anyway, she lived practically down at our house. She came down all the time and played with us, and sometimes we thought Mother paid more attention to her, because Mother
Well-
would walk her home if she stayed too late. And anyway, she ate meals at our house. Her mom was a particular person
Kind of like you.
and didn't want us up there at her house, so she was okay for Jackie to come down and play with
I
us all
bet
day.
Jerry remembers what you used to say at my house.
What?
When you came to my house to play, and don't like a lot of noise, and you'd say, "Okay, kids, outside, downstairs." That was
had
the
two
only choice
choices.
they had.
Yeah, but Connie, I was telling a story.
I don't care. I wanted to interrupt.
She does it all the time.
I
Did you
have
not-
to, or
do
I
you-
don't get to talk.
Do you not want this story told?
Go for it.
Well, it's not very nice of us, but we
I know.
stole
I'm trying
Jackie's.
to make it last so we don't have to say it.
We went down swimming in the river, which we can't believe our mom let us do that because we didn't know how to swim. And the river would change as the high waters came and stuff, the bottom of the river. Like over here used to be real shallow and now it's deep. Anyway, we went swimming down there and we didn't swim in the nude. We might have had our undies on. But anyway, we stole Jackie's clothes and hid them, and we went home. And we got switched when Mother found it out. That's
I mean,
only
all
time-
the way from the river to
To
our
our-
house, we had little switches on our legs. First time ever, and probably the
Probably the
last
only
time,
time.
too. Yeah,
That's the most trouble we got into. And
Sounds like you earned it.
I think you're right.
well, you know what? I think the stories must be different. We didn't let that little girl walk home in her undies.
It's hard to believe that we would do that.
Oh, wait. Some people might believe it.
Well,
that was one of the ornery things we did.
But there's a watermelon story too, isn't there?
Oh, that was when we were much older.
yeah, we should have known a lot better by then.
We were in high school
But
or
we didn't.
high grade school. We just go. I never did steal a watermelon in my life, and that's the gospel.
Me neither. We
I was
just
in the
rode
car.
along. We
Yeah.
rode along.
I
And
was the lookout.
We ate it too.
I don't even remember that.
I
but
did. I
The
loved
principal of the school the next day made us, whoever was in on it had to go out and clean up the street. That was in high school, though.
it. Yeah, we would get in the car with these different people that were being, stealing, and we'd ride along, and the guy that owned the pasture would have his shotgun out there, and he'd shoot in the air, and we'd get scared, and then we'd take off around, driving really fast to get away. So, and you went down in the ditch once, didn't you?
I was in a pickup with Lyle. I don't think
And
there
Jean, wasn't
were
it?
Lyle and Jean, and Lyle dumped the pickup on its side.
That wasn't a good thing.
No, he was driving without the lights. That's what you do after
You
you
have
steal
to.
watermelons.
And they knew we were going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
They were already ready for us when we got there.
Yeah, just something fun
It's
to do.
entertainment. When you live in a small town, there's not a lot to do, so
We
you get
weren't-
kind of creative.
We weren't smoking dope, were we?
Nope, we were not.
Just stealing
Couldn't even
watermelons.
smoke cigarettes, could we?
No. And I'm glad for that.
Me too. Oh yeah.
What else did you do for fun? I mean, did your brother keep you in check, or did he join in on any of this?
Oh, he was too much older.
But the thing that Harold did do, he was a wonderful brother, but he did like us to keep his car clean because he was going to town to see Velda, and it had to be perfect, and we were on dirt roads. So he would give us each a quarter, and we would dust his car before he went. Yeah, but he had this beautiful 55 Chevy, or 56.
56, isn't that what I hear
56.
Velda say?
Chartreuse and black. It was a honey. Yeah.
And he's got one. Well, Velda has the one that's similar. That's not the exact car.
No, but
But
it's pretty close
pretty
with the
close.
fender skirts and everything.
And she just can't get rid of it.
So now the house that you lived in, did it have? Now this might date you a little. I don't know.
Oh, it will.
Electricity, running water.
It had
Bathroom.
electricity.
Okay.
Not
Internet.
bathroom. No internet. We didn't even have a TV as early as the rest of the the rest of the town.
1955, we got one.
When our grandma died in that plane wreck, and my mother got a little bit of money, we got a TV, fine, black and white, 3 channels that you turned this way. You had to get up out of your chair and go over and change the channel and volume and all that.
But we never had running water in that house. No, I was senior
Every
in high
bit of-
school. We didn't have it.
Every bit of water we carried in, we carried out.
Where'd you poop and pee?
In a pot or else out in the biffies.
Outside toilet.
There were 2 biffies outside.
What's a biffy?
It's an outside toilet. Our mama called it that. And then we'd have to take the pot that, we use the pot more in the winter time.
Only, pretty
Yeah,
much
you
only.
could poop in it and everything.
Wow, we say all the words that there are to say, don't we?
And we'd have to go empty that out in the biffy and then use this pump well and put water in the pot and clean it out before you take it back in the house.
And our mother actually had to keep storing up water. We pumped it every day and put it in a barrel so that she would have water to clean the clothes. I can't say that word that you
Wash.
usually use because we say it wrong. We say wash, and that's not right.
It was wash.
So anyway,
And we washed our hair in that.
then we had to hang the clothes out on the clothesline, and there were another lady washed with my mom because she didn't have a washing machine. And so she came down every Monday and did that with my mom. And then they had a big clothesline full of clothes, and it was cold sometimes. Taking those clothes down, they'd be almost stiff. They'd be stiff. But Mom got a dryer in '55
Probably.
when she got the
But she still didn't use it much.
electric.
They still hung out on the line.
Yeah.
But when clothes were stiff and you brought them back in, then we'd hang them around the house, lay them on things and stuff till they got quit
By
being.
the coal stove, by the
Yeah.
way. We had a coal
Had to
stove.
finish
That's how we
drying
heated the house. And that made her wallpaper black, so she had to wallpaper fairly often.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we helped wallpaper, and it was always flowers,
Yeah.
and you had to match them. It was difficult. But she was quite the mama as far as, I don't know how she made it on a shoestring like she did with 5 kids, but she.
What year was it that we had that really bad snowstorm and we didn't get to go to school for several months because there was no electricity to anything? Do you know
Remember?
what year that was? No. A long time ago, though.
Well, we must have been over to Paradise by then. Isn't that the same storm where when we got to go back to the bus, got to go to school, and we drove through these big drifts? You don't remember that?
I remember driving through the drifts, but I thought that was a different one.
Different snowstorm.
Because I
Could
thought because the grade school was across the street from our house. We
Long
didn't have to
way.
walk very far. Those stories you tell about having to walk a mile to get to the school.
Up here
that
both
wasn't
ways.
us. That wasn't us. But they didn't have electricity in the grade school. I can remember that part.
Just during the storm.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, and I remember this because it was impressing us that Daddy spent time with us during that. We
Yeah.
had the kerosene lamps that we played cards and games, and our Daddy took part in that, which was very unusual.
Yeah, we didn't get to spend a lot of time with him, but that was pretty treasured.
And do you remember taking the mattresses off the bed and sleeping in the living room on the floor
Because it was warmer.
because of the coal stove, wood stove?
And in the summer when it was really hot, we didn't have air conditioning, so we would lay on the floor in front of the screen door, and then it would be cooler.
Breeze. And I even stuck my head out in the windowsill in that back room where the kids slept, you know.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, your head's so big it wouldn't have fit in there.
Oh, there she goes again.
Jeez. We put our head, I think it's a smart thing, we put our head out in the windowsill so you get breeze. There were screens on the window.
And sometimes we slept outside.
Yes, and then Harry Simpson would come by.
And the other thing we had to do was in the summer, we would had a big wash tub. Anyway, it was a big tub, and we would fill it with water, and it'd be heated by the sun, and that's where we took a bath.
Yeah, we'd fill it in the morning.
We'd be out in the lilac
Out
bushes
in the
so
lilac
nobody
bushes.
would see us.
We'd actually get totally naked, and that was the only bath we would have in a, we didn't have a bathtub. Otherwise, we took a little pan of water and a washcloth and washed our whole body. I know.
Not a pretty view, huh?
Well,
No.
I don't know how we rinsed. How did we rinse off? I don't remember that. How did we get rinsed off?
I don't think that's too difficult. You're
Well, we had that soapy wash rag.
Well, you put it down in the basin and rinse it out. And wipe off. This is getting pretty
Wowie.
graphic.
Well, we had this wash house that Mother used to wash the clothes, and we would take our pan of water out there in the, when the weather permitted, and wash out there. Otherwise, we were washing in our bedroom.
That's a
pan of
really
water.
hard word for Kansas. Isn't it?
Well, it is what it is. In Kansas, wash.
So then your school was right next door. Was that grade
Across the
school?
street, just grade school.
Eight grades.
So like kindergarten through 8th or what?
No
No.
kindergarten
No
in those
kindergarten.
days.
Ah.
Nope, and our church was catty corner across the street.
So everything was right there.
Pretty much.
But then
Everything in Fairport was
2
right
blocks
there.
away was the grocery store and the post office. Now, we talked 2 blocks away. That could be, what, a third of a city block?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
not very
actually
far.
there was a road, so it made it 2 blocks.
What about your bicycles?
We had one to share, didn't we, after
Yep.
a certain time. Was that after 1955 also?
Probably. Most everything
Because we
was.
didn't have money to buy bicycles before. But Mother bought one bicycle and we shared it. Can't believe we ever did that.
And you still have it, right?
Yeah,
It's an antique.
for sure.
Do you still ride it?
No, it needs some work on it. But it doesn't have any power or nothing. I mean, it's just a bike. How did we ever share it?
Beats me. We had to take turns, probably.
Yeah,
So you probably got to ride more than me.
I probably gave you the bike because I was taking care of you,
Or you don't want to ride it.
or I didn't want to be with you. One of the
Jerry,
three.
settle your mother down.
Was she that mean?
Don't do this.
Am I supposed to tell the truth? Because that's what my mom said.
You can't lie.
Yeah, she kind of was on me.
Ah,
And she still is, as a matter of fact.
I can remember and I regret that there were times that another child would come over and play, and we would, me and this child would leave Connie out sometimes.
You could say who it was. Jackie,
Jackie
the one
again?
that we took her swimsuit.
Well, she practically lived at our house. But yeah, sometimes I'd coerce her.
Oh, I know
Ah.
what you need to tell. The rake story.
No.
You tell it, because you did it.
Well, I kind of was particular, and I was raking dirt there in our front yard because there wasn't much grass, and I was raking it with my little child's rake with the curved blades or curved prongs, and she walked in it. I had all these lines going, so I just whacked her over the head with my rake, and it
And
bled.
my head bled. We lived in the country. I could have died.
Well, at least we know what's wrong with you. Well, and I was going to tell the basement story.
Oh,
We had
Yeah?
you had to get to the basement from the outside, and we'd go down there and sweep and do. Connie didn't do the sweeping, but
no,
anyway,
I didn't.
we
care.
made little houses down there with like blankets and stuff, and Jackie had a house, and I had a house, Connie had a house, and then we had
Oh, I
orange
don't
crates.
think I even had a house.
Oh, you didn't?
I don't think so. Why would I if I wasn't would be down there?
Well, yeah, she was always liking to play cowboys and Indians and stuff.
Oh,
But Jackie
way
and I
more
had
fun.
these houses, and they were pristine. We were always fussing with them. And she was over there laying on an orange crate with her dirty feet. I could not stand my feet to be dirty, and she was always barefooted.
Well,
So
and
I
then
didn't
we
want
had
her-
chickens out in the yard, and we had mulberries, so mine always
Oh,
had
yours were
mulberry
always-
stains on them.
And poop.
She just couldn't stand it.
Oh, my God. I said, I'm never going to your house.
I was
when we
having
get-"
way more fun.
Remember how I said I'd never visit you when we got married or got grown up because your house would be so dirty?
Yep.
She out cleans me.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. I think I made you into this monster.
See, you were my mom, so
Yeah.
I had to do what you said.
You
and
grew
so
up
here
saying-
I go.
She said she wouldn't come over if I didn't clean my house. No, she's got a spotless house now. So I don't know if I can take credit for that or not.
I don't know.
I'm
can
the one
try.
that lays around now in my recliner.
Well, you just like to read books, that's all.
Yeah. And you like to bury worms and have a funeral.
Oh,
I did
She
do
did.
that. Somebody was always killing those worms, and they were poor little worms, and I just had a funeral for them.
was it just you and the worms
Yep.
attending?
Yep. Yeah,
Unless
nobody
I
else
saw 'em.
cared.
I'd go over and step on them, make her mad. No, I didn't do that.
No, you weren't that mean.
And we had, at 4th of July, our dad bought us lots and lots and lots of firecrackers. And I don't know if anybody looking at this knows what a cigar box is, but we each had a full box of firecrackers.
Ladyfingers mostly.
No, we had the big ones too. I didn't like them, but we wouldn't hold them. We'd put them in something or on something and light them and run.
We'd have a punk.
Punk, yeah. We didn't have matches.
You know, it was pretty good growing up in Fairport. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I wouldn't either. I still don't understand why our mother let us swim in the river or wade or whatever.
When we didn't even know how to swim.
I did get in trouble one time, and there was some other kids down there, and a boy pulled me out because I was going under. But it was so strange how the bottom would change with the rains.
You know, you're the only one who remembers that story. I'm
You don't
beginning
remember?
to wonder about it. Because, you know, you have a lot of dreams about
I
Fairport.
dream things, and I
Think they're
wonder if
real.
they're real. But that's part of aging, sweetheart.
I'm there with you.
When did you leave Fairport, each of you? How old were you?
I was 16
16.
when your dad and I got married and went over and lived with the Heidschmidts then. And you, after you graduated, right? Well,
I was
You
a
can tell
junior
that
in high
story.
school when my mom moved to Russell. And so then I went to school. I lived with Chesney's in Paradise so I could finish high school that junior year. Then I lived with my friend Linda and her parents on the farm for the next year so I could graduate at Paradise. That was
Linda's the one that
important
we
to
saw
us
yesterday.
to graduate at Paradise.
Yeah.
And you graduated at Paradise also.
but nobody knows it.
I do.
They didn't let me walk with the group. I mean, I couldn't go to school because I was pregnant. And Wilma, my mother-in-law, bless her heart, said, "You will graduate." And I got signed up for a very hard English class through KSU and did that through the mail. And then the principal at Paradise High School oversaw me taking a government class, which I hated, but it was mostly writing. Anyway, I graduated, but I couldn't walk down the aisle. My picture's not on our school. I don't think the pictures are there anymore, but the Paradise High School used to have every graduating class's pictures up there, and they didn't put my picture up there with the rest of them, so it was kind of hurtful. Different times.
It was scandalous, I guess,
Yeah.
at that time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Now they have babies on their hip when they're in high school. You know, they take the kids to school with them. Yeah, I've had some hurt feelings over that. But
Times have changed.
that's the way it was.
Yep.
So would you move back to Paradise or Fairport, given the opportunity?
Well,
If
we do
Shark,
go back there. We've gone back several summers in a row with our cousin once and then with our nieces. How many times? 2 or 3.
oh, several, yeah.
And get to spend a few days there just reminiscing. And they're kind enough to go with us even though they didn't grow up
Oh,
there.
they like it because of their mom.
Yeah.
It was our sister. Lived there, into memories and stuff.
But it is, even though it's changed tremendously in the last few years, we still love going back there. It's just the feeling you get.
Yeah.
And because we loved it and we think it was a great place to grow up.
Oh, I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything, even though we didn't have anything. We didn't know we didn't have anything.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. My mom Our mom never let us know that we didn't have what everybody else had, or a lot of
She
other
made our
people.
clothes, even our little panties when we were young, and she would take our daddy's khakis and make us shorts out of them, and then trim the bottom of the shorts with some,
Ruffles and stuff.
or somebody, was it Grandma's house dresses that she would take and make or maybe it was her own house dresses that she would trim the.
Was that a dream you had, or was that
Oh,
real?
quit. It's just that your memory's bad. It's not that I'm dreaming.
It is bad. I just totally agree.
No.
Just totally agree.
You just don't remember our little tan shorts?
I remember our tan shorts. I don't remember Grandma's dresses or anything.
Somebody's dresses, trimmed them, because she put a trim on them. And then, when our Uncle Dale was in the service, Navy, he gave my mom, I don't know if it was one uniform or two or whatever, but she made us the very cutest little skirts with straps. And then
And a
she
bib, kind of.
yeah, and she embroidered on that. They were the cute. Everybody loved those outfits.
The other thing she did was she had us wearing majorette boots. We always had white polished majorette boots with little tassels on the front.
And they're having Prairiesta again in Russell, the 10th of June, and that's where we would wear our Prairiesta boots. Boy, were we hot! We
And
thought
because
we were.
our mom always dressed us alike, and she made the clothes, everybody thought we were twins.
Yep.
And I don't even think we look anything alike.
Well-
and we don't even act alike. Thank the Lord.
Well, and you're so much younger looking.
Yeah, right. You got
Whoa.
it.
Whoa! No, even in the last weekend that we just experienced, so many people thought we looked alike. We get that in stores now, don't we?
Yeah, they can tell we're sisters. And I just think they you look like Harold. And I was adopted, I swear. Really.
No. She grew up thinking that till how many years ago? And
Well, I'm
I
not totally
proved
convinced.
it. Our sister Dorothy tells this story. It's not a story, it's the truth. She went to school one day, and this is after Mother had 4 children. She had the 2 that my dad had when they got married, and then she had Harold and me, 8 years apart. And Dorothy went to school one day, and that McKinley girl, wasn't it? Florine McKinley told her that our mother was pregnant, and Dorothy, she went home and asked Mother, and she says, "We have too many kids already." And so I know that she wasn't adopted.
Okay, then. You just go with it.
It wasn't a dream, Connie.
That's debatable.
If you want to be adopted, that's fine. I'm going to quit taking care of you.
Hey, that's a good plan.
You know you like me looking after you.
Absolutely.
Even to this day.
Yeah.
A lot of times when she's left here, I'll call, "Did you get home okay?" I don't know. It's just innate. She's never asked me if I got home okay.
And you know what? That is not the truth. Well, you never come here, so how can I?
Come here?
Come to my house here in Wichita.
If you'd have moved to Derby like I asked you to do, I wouldn't have so far to go.
Okay, what else can we talk about?
Fowdy
Let's get
yowdy.
away from that. Nowdy.
Fowdy yowdy.
I'm going to tell him. I'm going to translate.
No, you're not.
Okay.
And what is this language that you two are speaking? What do you call
Isn't
that?
it wonderful?
It's called Fairport language. The Fairport.
It's called We Were Bored and Had Nothing Else to Do, so we made up our own little language, and nobody can figure it out, and sometimes we can't.
We're a little limited in
Yeah,
how much we can talk.
and how many big words we can say.
Yeah.
They're mostly little words.
Yowdy and nowdy. Those are the good
But
ones.
some of y'all don't know about Pig Latin, and there are folks who can't figure out Pig Latin too. Right, Kimmy?
Oh, man. I'm leaving.
Eat patently.
So we did make up our own our own entertainment,
And
and
there's nothing wrong with that. Kids should be able to do that today.
so
Yeah.
what is it we did when we laid out in the sun? What did we put on that was so bad? Was it methylate mixed with baby oil or something?
Something. We had to get darker. And we always had a pop.
Yeah.
Remember that? And Donna, I can remember Donna, our neighbor, coming over and laying out in the sun with us. Laying out in the sun was just a blanket on this prickly weeds that we had for a lawn.
Yeah, we didn't have
It wasn't
grass.
real plush.
It was part of our entertainment, though.
Yeah. And do you remember when the Paradise Boys started coming over to Fairport?
Oh, yeah.
It made the Paradise Girls mad. But they'd come over and drag our street and stuff, trying to see if we were outside.
So when did you start dating boys? How old were you?
I was 3 and she was 4.
Oh, my. Better straighten
Nobody
that
asked her out
story
until she was
out.
22, so I don't know.
You better straighten that story out.
Well, Connie lost a boys, and he lived in our town. Class ring.
I did. I was going steady with
Didn't go
Charles
over very big.
Landis. Huh?
Because, you know, class rings were, in those days, considered expensive.
Yeah.
And Charles Landis down the street gave her his class ring, and to this day, we don't know where it is.
We volunteered to buy him a new one, and his
Did we?
parents said no. Yes, we did.
They were very strict Nazarenes, and they held
Yeah,
those
if
kids
you
down.
say we were going together, we didn't go anywhere because they couldn't go to.
Oh, we
They
didn't.
couldn't dance. They couldn't play cards. They couldn't go to movies.
Couldn't smoke
We
cigarettes.
went to church. Yeah, didn't hurt us either.
Yeah, you did get to go to youth fellowship or something, didn't you? With
Not what they were Nazarene, and Methodist was MYF.
yeah, but they had something that you went to church with the Landises, didn't you?
Oh, I went to regular church and church during the week.
Oh, and I did that bad thing. My very first date was with Charles. He was in.
We
he
both
was,
dated him. Can you believe it?
Well, there weren't that many to pick from. We had to share.
Share.
But he was.
Everybody dated everybody.
Oh yeah. He was a freshman when I was still 8th grader, and he asked me to their FFA banquet.
Oh yeah,
Is that what it's
was
called?
bad.
Wasn't that bad. Anyway, it was a hayrack ride with all this hay, you know, and you sat on it. And some other boy started hitting on me, Gary Miller. And so I started sitting with him. How was that? Oh, we went home. The bus had taken some people. I think Deb Landis, Charles's dad, took Charles and me over there.
Okay.
We couldn't ride on the bus.
Yeah, that's right.
So-
Oh yeah, we couldn't drive when I went with him. We couldn't either.
So I went home with, well, I didn't go home. I sat by Charles. I sat by Gary Miller, and Charles was out of the picture. He had to go home with his dad. And do you know, it wasn't very many years ago at a school reunion, Charles came up to me and he says, "Hey, you want to go on a red hayrack ride?" He remembered that.
Oh, probably broke his heart.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, heartbreaker there.
That's not one of my prideful moments.
So go back to this Paradise. Boys started driving over there to see. Whoa,
What was
little
his
Hudnall
name?
Girls.
But what was his name? That one with the red hair?
Oh, Randall Wheeler?
No, the one you married.
Oh, Roger, too. No, the first guy I dated that had red hair was Randall. Well, I'd waited Dwayne Cron in
Oh,
freshman, and you guys found my diary.
yep.
And in those days, maybe they could just still do it. I wrote, Mrs. Karen Cron, Mrs. Karen Cron,
Shelley and I were devastated.
and Kim and Shelley found that. They were tearful. They
We
thought I
did
had
that with
been
every
married.
boy we dated.
Yes. See what our name looked like with them. And the girls thought I'd been married before. Yeah, I dated Dwayne Cron as a freshman, Randall Weller as a sophomore, and then Roger Heitschmidt as a junior.
Finally
I-
ended that. Gee.
Well, but Roger said when he saw me, because he came from Covert, I came from Fairport, and we met in Paradise. That's where we were all going to school. And when he first saw me, he says, "I'm going to date her someday, but not till I get a car."
I need to straighten up what I just said. When I said finally ended that, I meant finally ended the string of boys she dated. Not that she
I knew
ended her
that.
marriage.
Well, whatever. It was good times.
Yeah, we did. We had some of the boys would come over like on the weekend. I don't think you were in on this though.
Probably not.
Myron Brown and Donna and I think it was Lyle. We went up by Jacobs and we got their truck stuck. He had like an
Whose
old
truck?
panel truck. Myron Brown's dad that he drove to get groceries for his grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
And we got that panel truck stuck. Oh, was he in trouble? Mm-mm. He wasn't supposed to be in Fairport in the first place.
I haven't heard that story.
Yep. Donna could tell that one too. I think she was going with Myron. Or he liked her or something. I don't know. Didn't matter. We all just went together.
Yeah, it wasn't a boy-girl thing back then as far as, well, just like with me in that pickup with those two boys, I didn't date or go with either one of them. It's just that
Just having fun.
I just sat in the pickup because everybody else was stealing watermelons and I didn't want to. I was too scared. I was the lookout. And then these two boys jumped in this pickup and drove too fast and
Turned
turned over. It was without lights. I can still remember it. And do you know, I didn't think my mom knew that until years later she admitted she knew it all the time.
Oh.
You know, that's the way it was even with our kids as they were growing up, right?
Yeah.
They thought we didn't know some things, and we did.
We did.
But there are things they tell us today that we didn't know, too.
And we're not sure we want to know now.
Yeah. You don't really have to tell us that. We thought you were kind of more perfect.
Oh, and when Harold started dating Velda and brought her out to Fairport, you remember that?
We thought the sun rose and set in Velda. We still do.
Yeah, that was awesome. She loved our family from the very beginning, and she'd let us drive Harold's car sometimes.
You would
You
not have
know,
liked knowing
mm-mm.
that, probably.
Didn't he go off to some kind of not boot camp, but he went off somewhere
Well, he went into the service, and so he had
before
that.
she did. I mean, he left his car with her, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she let us drive.
And wasn't he with Herbie
Herbie
Bridges?
Bridges.
Yeah. And then she would let us take us over to Natoma so we could go to the Icy Bar and get French fries.
Yep.
That's another reason
was a
we
big
loved
deal.
her. We're lucky we still have that girl.
She's a sister, actually. And
So-
she's
When you were in high school, you played some sports, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she was better than I was.
No. We both played basketball. You only
I
got
only got to play one time when we were so far ahead or else so far behind. And Coach Woodall told me I was going to go out there on that floor. I can't dribble. I don't know why he put me out there. I don't even know what I did, but I was so embarrassed.
everybody's supposed to play, especially if you're way far ahead or way far behind. That's just the rule.
Well, you know why we weren't very good at it? because
now you're
Fairport
saying we.
Why I wasn't? We didn't have it in grade school like the Paradise Girls did.
Yeah.
I never had to dribble a basketball.
Well,
I don't know.
I didn't have to because I was a guard, and that in
You
those
just stood
days,
out there, right?
yeah, and those, yeah, just get in somebody's way. And in
You're
those,
good at that.
you got that right. In those days, we played half court, so you only, if you were a guard, you were just playing half court, and you just guarded the ball when it came down to your side. So you didn't really dribble ever, or well,
I
not
should have been a
much.
guard. I guess I was because I got out there and I didn't move.
But you maybe off to the side, you weren't in anybody's way.
Yeah, I never was a cheerleader. She was. I was a homecoming queen.
Candidate,
Is that what they are? Attendant? Something.
attendant, I
Yeah.
think they call them that.
But when I went to school, there were 3 girls that had everything wrapped up. Sports-wise, boy-wise, everything. I mean, these girls were cheerleaders and a homecoming queen and attendants, and until they got out of school, I didn't have a chance.
You did, because you got to be an attendant right away.
Well, and
Weren't
Donnie
you a
Martin,
freshman?
well, that might have been, but she put me up for FFA Sweetheart, and I got it. And it made the Paradise Girls mad. Because there was this division, Paradise Girls, Fairport Girls, to some extent.
Yeah.
And they had more training, more.
Well, it's
in
always
sports.
hard to see new girls come in.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Boys don't
Still
have that.
today. Just competition.
They're the outcasts for a while.
But we still had fun on the high school bus. We had more fun
Oh,
on
yeah.
that. Mr. Harrell was our hero. He put up with us, and I can't even believe he did. He should have said, "Shut up, sit down," but he didn't. He let us.
Outsider.
Mark
downstairs.
Harrell, that was
Yeah,
his
Mark.
name. Yeah.
Well, and that Richardson guy, you know, she talked to me about that not long. Well, it's been a while back, but I had the Richardsons as bus drivers first.
I didn't.
And there was one time when they were bringing, and the wife was a teacher over there, so she would ride the bus too. And there was one time we came home, and out by Lyle's over that bridge, it was high water, and so we had to. The Richardson driver, the man, had to carry me over that.
Yeah.
And I guess
remember
we
hearing
walked
that
home or
story.
something. Had to leave
That
the
low
bus
water
there.
bridge gave us a
Yeah.
lot of trouble.
But out on Lyle's Hill, we would sled. We'd go out there because he had a great big hill by his house, and then his mom would make hot chocolate. That was so fun.
We'd have a bonfire and have marshmallows, and
We did know how to have fun, but it was all
we did.
clean fun that didn't cost anything.
It was good though.
And Connie and I got a little phonograph thing that played records
Yeah.
for our Christmas or something. It was like a little suitcase.
What do you call the smallest records? Are they 35s?
45s.
45s. Yeah, 45s.
And
33
so-
is a big one.
One time we were going to have a dance by Kenya Fop
We were going to have a big party, weren't
by
we?
Kenneth's shop. He had a piece of concrete beside his shop. And we invited people, and we had our little record player going, and nobody came.
Nobody
Oh.
showed up. But we did also take that out to Faye's schoolhouse, and we did have dances out
Yeah.
there.
We provided
And the boys
music.
actually danced with us, too.
Yeah. Joe Zitnick, he would teach us what was it?
Polka.
Polka.
And the schottisch.
Yeah.
Yeah. We lost Joe a few years ago. He was a good guy. Everybody loved Joe.
Now, for the record, Edra May Hudnall, right, was your mom,
Right?
and your dad. What was his name?
Harry Elmer, he was born Rufus
Oh.
Richard.
Oh,
Found that out later.
Yeah, not that many years ago that we found out his real name.
And I found Rufus in the Bible.
Yep.
That name is in the Bible. But yeah, he was 16 years older than our mom.
oh, and they were married. How long ago? I mean, do you remember what year?
Oh.
34.
Okay.
Yeah,
Think.
because she was born in 1917, and she was 17 when she got
17.
married.
Okay.
And they lived out on the lease by Fairport, which has to do with oil wells and stuff. And then, oh my gosh, it was when I was born that they moved down to Fairport.
Yep. I
Yeah.
never lived up on the lease. Because I was adopted.
Yeah.
That came later.
Yeah, really. Much later.
So he worked in the oil well, or oil fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Karen and I used to, in the summer, we would take our little picnic and go walk up to his lease and then see him up, and we'd eat our lunch up there on the lease.
Except the times we ate all the plums on the way up there.
Yeah,
and they
well,
did-
we couldn't wait.
I thought we rode up there with Daddy. We walked up there? Oh my goodness.
It wasn't
was
that far,
early.
Karen.
Yes, it was.
It seemed like it then, but now it's like a hop, skip, and a jump.
No, it's a
Oh, we
long
didn't
ways.
tell about Lyle's horse.
Oh yeah, go ahead, because you
Yeah,
like
that's
the horse.
my
I
story
didn't.
because she doesn't believe it. He had a horse named, it was a Palomino
Palomino.
horse, big tall
Tall.
horse, seemed real tall then, and its name was Silver. And I loved horses. Karen didn't so much.
Oh no.
But he would bring his horse down for us to ride. And one time we were, all three of us, he and Karen was in the middle, I guess. No, you'd be in the front. Lyle was in the middle and I was on the back. We were going up the cemetery hill, which in those days seemed really tall, but it wasn't.
You guys
But-
saw the cemetery hill.
The horse was really pretty tired of three people riding, and so he kind of bucked and off I went. And so Karen, of course, says, that's what happened to me. That's why I'm like this. And she could be right.
And so recently, we checked on Lyle. He's out in where?
I think
Oregon?
it's Nevada.
Nevada.
He moved.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, she checked with his wife just to see how Lyle was doing, and it turns out he's got some medical problems. And so he had her, well, she told us about him, and then she wrote later and said that he said hi to us and hi ho Silver.
Yep. She texts back and said that. Lyle said hi ho Silver, so he's still got his sense of humor.
Remembers.
Yep. And the class reunions are something that we really enjoyed about our school because they have them every 2 years. And we haven't missed very many of them, but COVID didn't help out much with that. We didn't
No.
get to do it then. Somebody's talking about maybe having them this year, and I don't know if we will or not.
No, that would make us on the off year.
But we had to make up. for
They
what we
well,
missed.
but they had them last time, and no, we didn't miss any because of COVID. Remember, they had them.
A few people did come, didn't they?
A few people came, but it wasn't worth doing.
I
it,
did
don't-
hear people saying maybe again this year, but
Really?
I don't.
That'd make us on the off.
We
year.
should, because who knows how many years we have left.
Well,
No.
yeah, and the audience gets less and less because they
Yeah.
close the schools, so we don't have that many graduates because it's for an all-school reunion. But it's been something nice that would keep us.
And it was always fun to see our brothers and sisters, friends too, because we knew everybody.
Yeah.
So when you have these reunions, you go back to your old
Russell.
stomping grounds. Oh, you have them in Russell.
And
but
Russell.
Yeah, at the VFW.
you
I know,
go-
we've had them at the VFW and
Elks.
then the Elks
Yeah.
both.
But then we always have to make a trip over to Paradise and check things out.
And Fairport. We always have to go to Fairport.
Has
Well-
much changed?
Oh,
Oh my.
we had some words on Facebook for a while with the lady that's bought up Fairport and leveled it. There's not much left, and she
Very
took our
disappointing.
She took our house down. I got on Facebook and said I'll never go back and blah blah blah. And
I believe I said that too.
yeah, she said it too. And
we do
so she
anyway.
blocked us. And since then, I've become her friend again, but Connie hasn't.
Well, I just don't enjoy her posts, so
Yeah,
I don't do it.
but they're thinking of selling that cabin. I think it's up for sale, and it's an
You
old
could buy it,
stone
Jerry.
house. Yeah, there you go.
It's an idea.
There you go. It's a little small, but you know.
Family of 7 used to live there.
Yeah, we saw it. It was actually pretty. It's a nice little place, but it is a little sleechy.
No
Yeah.
dishwasher. They did put running water in.
Yeah.
Made a shower. They added to it and
They
made
have
a
a
shower.
bathroom and everything.
Yeah. But back in the day, they didn't have that one. That poor mom.
Hard to
Cooked for all of
imagine
them.
that many people living in that little house. You have to spend a lot of time outside.
But I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything.
Me neither.
We learned how to entertain ourselves. Even though we didn't know we didn't have money, we kind of had an idea we didn't have money because we didn't have TV and running water, and other people in Fairport did. The other
I
two
think
houses.
the only thing I might change is seeing if my sister would play cowboys with me. That's not gonna happen, right?
I might get my feet dirty.
That's right.
My granddaughter told me, Kaylee, one time when she was at my house, that she went home and told her mama that I spent more time getting the bottom of my shoes clean after walking, because we went for a walk for a mile or something. Grandma spent more time cleaning the bottom of her shoes than she did walking. I can't stand my shoes to be dirty.
So any other stories that you want?
Tidbits.
Yeah, little tidbits of wisdom from Fairport, Paradise Days.
We have found out in recent years, and I hope I can tell this, there was a man named Deb Landis. We saw his tombstone out there. He lived right there at the corner of, when you come down Cemetery Hill, and they're right there at the edge of town. And he's the one that was so strict. His family, he and his wife and the kids
That's
couldn't
one
do
who I
anything.
lost the ring, his son,
Yeah.
and she dated him before I did. That's
And he
that
worked
one.
for our dad back in the day.
He
Remember?
did work for
He worked for our dad.
He had good things to say about it.
Yeah.
Too.
But we were always half scared of him because he was so strict. And anyway, we started, when Connie would come back, going into the Wichita, one of the nursing homes, because he ended up there after his wife died and stuff.
He had diabetes.
Yeah. He was not doing well, but
And they did cut one of his legs off, half of it.
but anyway, we started visiting him probably 2 or 3 times before he died. And he really, really appreciated that, you could tell. And sometimes a couple of his kids were there. But probably the last time we visited him is when he told us about our dad.
Yep.
And he told us how much our dad loved us, but he didn't know how to show us. And how he would talk to Deb about he didn't think we liked him. And what a great man he was, and how he came to Fairport and was ostracized when his first wife died. Some people thought that he killed her, and so they ostracized him. And he didn't. She took, what did she take?
I think it was rat poison.
Rat poison or something. And Dorothy and Bud remembered. They know. I mean, he did not kill her, but the town thought so, or blamed him for it, and so they ostracized him. They threw him out of whatever it was he was in, the Elks or something.
Eastern Star?
I don't know what it was.
I think that's what it is.
But he had one heck of a life, I mean a hard life, because he left home when he was, he hadn't even graduated from high school.
I had always heard it was like 10 years old, but that sounds
No, he
kinda
wasn't
young,
that young,
but
I don't think.
He was very young.
He had been on his own for a long time. Started working in the oil fields, came to Kansas, and
But
had
we
a
had
hard
some
life.
hard feelings because we didn't feel that he was very affectionate.
He
with
wasn't. He
us.
didn't know how to be.
He didn't know how to be, and once you hear from someone else, we just wish we had heard that many years ago, so we could have.
Because his mom died when he was 5 months old.
Yeah, he didn't have a mother figure at all.
And then sometime his dad remarried, and there were like 4 more kids.
And he was probably gone by then. I mean, in the
I don't
oil
know how
field.
much older they are, or he is.
Well, and because we never had that set of grandparents either, we kind of only had one set of grandparents, and our grandfather died young when
And
we were
Grandma
young,
did.
and then our grandma died when I was 11.
Yeah, Daddy didn't know how to show love, but he did buy us peanuts and pop and give us quarters to go, or dimes, nickels, whatever, to go down to Elmer Creek Palms. And showed us his love by that.
But as we said, when we had the big storm and we got to spend a lot of time with them playing games and things, that was a real special time.
Oh, yeah. That's the most time we ever had spent with him. What about the time we
Oh,
put that
I just
pop in?
thought of it too. No, I was thinking of a different thing.
Well, I don't know why we did this, but he sat there at the library table with the radio on before television and would listen to Fibber McGee and Molly and different things. And I don't know why we did this, but we took a beer opener and heated it up on the stove and touched him with it.
Oh, he jumped a mile high. He didn't get mad at us.
He
even.
did not get mad at us.
We were trying to get his attention, you know.
Oh,
We got it.
I do not know why we ever did that.
Well, the story I was thinking of was the time we went to the air show in Great Bend.
Oh, yes, that's got it. Yeah.
And what was the reason he drove so slowly?
Mothers must have, I tell the kids about this, Mother must have criticized his driving.
Yeah.
You're going too fast.
So he slowed way down. And we're like, man, we're never going to get back home. We're never going to get back home. Our fingernails are getting longer. We've been in the car so long. And we would just go
When we get
on
home,
and
we're going to
on.
have to cut our hair.
We just went
And
on
that just
and
egged
on.
him on. I mean, I think it, I don't know. I tell the kids, I said, I don't know if he was laughing in the front seat, you know, without us knowing
could
it,
have been.
or whether it made him mad.
Was that the car that we had the kerosene stove
Yes.
in? Yeah. We
Didn't
didn't
have
have a
any
heater, so we had a kerosene stove. Now that had to be real safe.
He sat on the floor in the back seat.
Yep.
But that was so funny. We thought we were just sitting back there egging him on. Yeah, we're just gonna have to cut our nails and gonna have to cut our hair. And
He never called us down or
Nope.
anything.
we didn't really get in trouble with our dad.
No.
He was not a disciplinarian.
Neither was our mom.
Well,
But
sat
she
on a
didn't have to
chair.
be because we were so darn
Well,
perfect.
that's true.
Remember?
Well, the only thing we had to do was sit on a chair, and that didn't bother me.
Oh, it bothered
it
me
bothered
big time.
Connie.
Sitting on a chair was not fun.
She had to be outside and getting her feet
Gotta
dirty.
be getting my cowboy and Indian stuff going.
Yeah, and I remember going out in the hills, which were to mountains to us. There was a big hill, and we were always told there was an Indian buried in there. And we'd go out there and look for snail shells.
And we found a lot of arrowheads.
Arrowheads, too,
Yes, we did. And the other thing we found out by Lyle's was isinglass.
Isinglass?
Remember? We thought that. Oh, tell about our bracelet and necklace.
Oh, yeah, when we got enough
It
snail
was
shells.
so cool.
I don't know if you know what snail shells look like, but we painted them blue, just like we did the bush house door, and Dad wasn't too happy about that. I mean, the brightest, darkest, wildest blue you ever saw. I don't know, he must have had that can for
There's a
something.
can of blue
We
paint
saw the
somewhere.
blue paint, so we painted these snail shell necklaces. We strung the snail shells on a string and made a necklace and a bracelet, didn't we?
Mhm.
And painted them with that awful, awful dark blue.
I think we just dipped it in there, didn't we? Dipped
Yeah,
them in?
probably.
Yeah, in the can
And
of
then
paint.
tried to sell them.
And we did sell them.
Did the Jacob boys buy 'em?
Jacob boys bought them for $5, I think it was, the set.
Well, and we also would have Kool-Aid stands out by the front gate.
Yeah.
We'd set up a little orange crate,
Yep.
and Mother'd make us a pitcher of Kool-Aid. Don't you remember we'd drink it and add water to
Yeah.
it and sell it? The Jacob boys bought
They
it
always
before.
bought, they were so good to
They
us.
were nice. They'd stop and get it. But by that time, it was watered down. I know it was.
Their parents lived up on the hill, well, which wasn't really very far from our house. And we'd go up there and get milk
Milk from them.
from them, so.
And go down to Bridges and get eggs.
And they
Eggs.
had a dog called Fudd, and
Oh,
he
he was
was the
mean.
meanest dog. We were so scared of him.
Mother would send me down there to get Eggins. That's what I'd tell. What's her name? Idabel? Not Idabel.
Inez?
John and Mabel. Mabel Bridges would come to the door. The dog would be barking and barking, and I'd say, "Mama wants
Fudd,
some."
stop it!
Yeah, Mom wants some Eggins. And so she'd go back in the kitchen to get them, and Fudd would look at me, and he'd come creeping back in there. I hated to go after Eggins.
We didn't even want to walk by their house.
Mm-mm. And if Fudd was ever out, it was an announcement in Fairport, "Fudd's out." And I remember going back in her kitchen. She was a great cook, but she made her own butter. And she had this pat of butter, big old pat of butter in her hand, and she'd go around it.
Made you want to eat it.
Oh, and we did eat down there. When her
Yeah.
grandkids would come.
Yep.
And Ivan was a friend of Harold's, and
Yeah.
he ate a worm one time.
Yeah.
Now,
Grossed
I don't know.
us out.
Well,
He
Harold
really did eat it.
did he
too.
eat it?
Yeah,
I know he
Harold
was
said
just
he
going to
did.
pretend to, and he put it like that, and we just
How was
grossed
that
out.
again?
I mean, I can't even imagine. And then he married this gal, and they got. Well, anyway, that's another story that's not as funny as when it happened. But
Arlena.
Arletta.
We called her Arletta.
But
We didn't say anything
their
right.
little girl,
Barbara Jean.
Barbara Jean, we'd ask where she was. She was under the house with the
They
dog.
had a crawl space under there, and she'd
She'd
be
play
under
in
there
there.
with the dog and with
Filthy.
dirty diapers.
The wet diaper would be filthy.
Yeah.
And when they got floodwater in their house, we went down to help them, and she was saving all this flour and
Flour.
stuff that had floodwater in it. And they
But
always
you know they were healthy.
they lived. But don't you remember? She always had like a plate of goulash, and it was just macaroni, hamburger, and some kind of tomatoes. I mean, I'm sure she probably didn't know how to cook. Isn't that funny how
Well,
those
they
things
were
come
able
back?
to live on it, whatever it was.
But Arletta didn't even know she was pregnant. Remember?
That's what she
They
said.
got married in the hospital room after she had the baby, and she just went to the hospital. She didn't know she was pregnant when she was
She knew something was wrong.
probably having pains. But
Hard
anyway,
to believe, but
some of the things that happened were such big news in Fairport. You know, because we didn't have that much going on. We didn't have politics.
yeah.
Water, we'd go down, and a lot of people in Fairport would go down and stand by the bridge on the east or the west side of town and watch the water rise.
Yeah.
Now, how many people thought that was fun?
It
today?
always came up to Landis's right there on the corner.
Yeah, that's as
And
high.
it came to our back of our yard once.
Yeah. But that was
We
a
were
big
always
deal.
afraid it was going to, though.